A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and in our news, Rock Hall squatters speak out about their situation. The water restrictions currently in place could be extended. A Barbadian master weaves his way into many hearts at Carry Festa 14. And in sports, two Barbadian cricketers topped the honors list at the CWI VIPA Award ceremony.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
And in our top story leading the news, the squatters at Rock Hall St. Philip have their say as we wait to see how their proposed relocation will play out in the coming months. Last week, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley expressed concern about the development's close proximity to the airport, as well as the fact that the area was once a landfill. She says that households earning less than $15,000 per year will be provided with $25,000 grants to assist in their relocation. Our Shane Jones made the trek to the most talked about district on the island today to hear from the squatters themselves.
Makeshift utility poles, houses propped up on soft stone, galvanized sheds and shanties, and a few water tanks. These are just some of the sites here at the squatters' settlement in Rock Hall St. Philip. Now, we went knocking on the doors trying to get a feel of the people that live here, of what are their thoughts, of what are some of the proposals for them. Now, most of the people, when they saw us, they ran inside, they slammed their doors, they drew their curtains, they did not want to speak to us, but we found some that did speak to us, and it's interesting what they said. There are some people who are of the belief that they don't want to move, that the money being proposed and the grants being proposed for them to make that relocation is not enough, and there are others who say they know they're wrong, and once they can have a feasible alternative, they have no problem in moving.
If we have the option to go, and we say we have to go, I'm prepared to go, honestly. But I'm saying also, first I've come down a lot of folly. A lot of folly. When persons can come and put a wall structure on some person's property, it is real little problems. Problems, believe it or not, it is problems.
So how long have you been here? Because you're talking about people coming and putting wall structure. So what have you been seeing? What has been the trend? Has things been changing here in Rock Hall?
Yes, a lot of persons have come in. A lot of folks have come in, especially a lot of non-nationals.
A lot of people are saying, you guys are here on the land, you haven't paid for it, and they might be expressing some disappointment and even anger about that. What is your response to that?
Well, really and truly, yes, I understand the point of view of others, but sometimes a situation evolves that there's nothing else that you can do. I have went in the government already seeking housing more than 20 years ago until no avail. I have a family and it was getting bigger. I was living in a little shanty and I needed to provide somewhere for my family.
There are some residents like this non-national who you're about to hear from who have been in Rock Hall for over 14 years and they are adamant they will not move.
If you were offered the $25,000 that is being put on the table to relocate.
$25,000 can do. What $25 could do for somebody in time like this? And things so expensive. What $25,000 can do?
So what is your plan? What do you plan to do? If the government comes and says you have to move by X date, what is your option?
If they relocate me, I would appreciate it. If they can locate me, it's no problem. But when we move, where we go on the street and live under somebody's house, in somebody's veranda when night comes? Where will we go?
There are people that will be saying, hang on, you guys are saying where would we go, but we are paying our taxes, we are paying for our own homes, these people are squatting. What do you say to people that have that view?
Well, if the thing come and square off the piece we have and sell it to us, we pay them and we pay taxes too.
Prime Minister Motley has promised there will be discussions with the residents both on an individual and collective basis. Shane Jones, CBC News.
A very interesting story indeed. And joining us now to give us some more perspective into that developing story is Shane. Shane, now I noticed that a lot of the residents you spoke to spoke off camera, so I'm sure that they had a lot more to say that was not in that package.
Yeah, as I said, a lot of them didn't want to speak, and then the ones that spoke with us, they didn't want to be on camera, but they had a lot to say off camera. It's interesting some of the things that we found out. What is very interesting is that it seems like if some of the residents there, they think there's a proper way to squat.
The first resident you spoke to, yes.
Yeah, because she was saying, you know, they know the land isn't theirs, so they have their wooden structures, they have it on soft stone, but they're upset about people that are building concrete structures, and what they're saying the people are making it bad for them. Actually, one of the squatters showed me a structure that was actually put into parts. It's an apartment. She says someone is a landlord in there taking rent, and there's their apartment building inside the settlement. And also, one of them that walked past when we were there said it's interesting because, you know, we brought up the topic about what people are saying, that we are paying our taxes and we are paying for our land, but they are not. And now they're saying that they don't want to move. One of them said people don't pay land tax and nobody doesn't tell them anything. So that's some of the things that people are saying. It's quite interesting.
What's the general feel, though, that you get from these squatters? Do they at all feel that they're being unreasonable?
Unreasonable? I think what we have coming out is that people are saying we know we are wrong. So if the government comes and says something must be done, the majority of the people that I spoke to, both on and off camera, are saying we know we're wrong, and if we have to move, then we're going to have to move. They have the one or two people that are saying they don't want to move, square off the land and sell it to us, but you know what the government has said about that area, and they don't really want people living in that area. Now the thing is a tickler situation, because as the years have passed, we know we've spoken to people that have been there 18 years, almost 20 years, and the settlement just continues to grow. We passed people, we saw well-manicured lawns, we saw satellite dishes, huge water tanks.
Some nice houses. Exactly,
on these some very nice houses in there. So you can understand when the government knows that something has to be done. There has to be some... It has to start somewhere in terms of relocating, but they're also, the ticklish situation that they're in is that they have to be a human element, because you're dealing with people and human beings.
And it's a major relocation.
Yes, exactly. So we will continue to monitor this as the weeks and months come up, and I'm sure we've not heard the last of this.
Indeed. It will be interesting to see how it all plays out. Thanks so much, Shane, as always. Well, the Barbadian delegation currently in Trinidad for Carry Festa continues to fly the local flag high and has been receiving some positive reviews from patrons. Our Rian Phillips has more.
Master Weaver Sylvester Clark is the latest Barbadian who has been turning heads in the Twin Island state.
A lot of persons like the opportunity to use the loom. They'd never had the opportunity to see or use the loom. So I feel like that was the greatest attraction so far for me during the Carry Festa. Persons really like there's a bed throw I have that is 64 inches wide. Persons are amazed that I can weave something that wide and actually hand weave it. And then the other stuff that I weave, there's a table runner. There are other stuff that I weave using recycled fabric. The stuff that I weave like pencil cases. The stuff I weave like clutch bags. The stuff shoulder bags. The computer bags. And the response here was really fantastic.
Clark also revealed many of his handmade pieces have been extremely popular.
The main at the moment are like the clutch bags. They've been going really nicely. Small clutch bags. I sold a couple of bigger ones too, but the small clutch bags are the main ones that have been moving.
Carry Festa 14 ends on August 25th, and from all reports so far, Barbados has impressed with its cultural talent. Rian Phillips, CBC News.
The Barbados Water Authority is considering extending the ban it has implemented on excessive use of the precious commodity. This from General Manager Keith Roy Halliday, who says they've been informed by Met officials that the current drought conditions are now expected to last longer than first anticipated. Speaking to CBC News, Mr. Halliday says as a result, Barbadians might have to continue being very careful about how much water they use for just a bit longer.
We've had mixed reactions, but by and large, Barbadians are pretty civic-minded and they've responded admirably. The prohibition that we put in place really ends the end of August, and we're revisiting that to see whether or not we need to extend that. In as much as we have been advised by CMMH as well that the the drought impact would last until at least the end of October. But we have had a number of people who have called in and who have reported, out of concern, instances where they believe that water usage is being abused or where they believe that individuals are not adhering to the prohibition notice.
Now, back in June, the BWA activated its drought mitigation plan, banning people from watering gardens, lawns, or grounds, restricting them from filling tanks, baths, and swimming pools, and from washing roadways, pavements, or their vehicles. Now, failure to comply could result in a $500 penalty or imprisonment. Mr. Halliday says thanks to the vigilance of Barbadians, there are a few individuals on its radar, and they will be dealt with.
In respect of those who have not complied, there are instances where we will pursue, as necessary, any of those infractions. I'm not in a position to give any more information on that as yet, but certainly we are ensuring that we prosecute where we need to, and we will press wherever we need to as well.
Next year, the St. Bartholomews Church will be marking a significant milestone, and that is 190 years of existence. Priest in charge, Father Ian Claridge, says that starting on August 25th, a year of activities will be launched to mark the occasion and will culminate with the St. Bartholomew's Day in August next year. He says overall, the church's vision is to reach out more to the community by expanding the number and types of programs it offers. For this, it would welcome help from its partners in the form of resources, which it acknowledges does not have to be cash.
It can be manpower, it can be equipment, it can be different things that the church will need. One of those things we look to do is expand our IT program or IT presence through Facebook and other social media. This would recall computers, cameras, other equipment that companies may have no longer have use of and would want to provide. We can reach out to our stakeholders with, as they have done and continue to do, with supporting us in our various efforts.
And regarding the year of activities, Father Ian says the theme is Reach Out, Reaching Lives and Bringing Light to Our Community. It will include church services each month and feature contributions from former priests who have served in the parish.
We will be dedicating in November a memorial wall, and this memorial wall will contain the names of persons interred, in the most part, interred in the graveyard, but also others who are connected to the church and their family would like to remember them. And on the 21st of October, we will have a lecture by Canon Noel Titus, Noel Titus, on the contribution of Bishop Coleridge and the Anglican Church to the education of Barbados.
Well, with Barbados seeking to reduce its multi-million-dollar food import bill, 30 teenagers have been seeking to play their part by sharpening their agricultural skills. They have spent the majority of their summer vacation enrolled in the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, or ICA, Summer Youth Forum Program. And we get more details in this story now from Rianne Phillips.
Crop production, livestock rearing, and aquaponics are just some of the areas which these 30 teens are being trained.
We have, just about 30 plus candidates in all doing the Youth Farm program. It started this year on July the 1st. It ends on the 31st of August. So the students essentially spend their entire summer with us. And we have a cohort from 14 participating schools that do agri-science.
And tutor of the aquaponic program, Russell Smith Oliver, gave an overview of the topics covered.
Students did things like testing the pH, how acid or how alkaline the water is, the requirements needed for a fish to survive in the Caribbean. What are the best types of fish to use? Are you using edible fish? Are you using ornamental fish? So students have acquired a wealth of knowledge throughout this 7 to 8 week period.
17-year-old Ravindra Shandan and 15-year-old Rihanna Grant shared their experiences with us.
So we had actually built an NFT system here, which is known as a nutrient film technique system. How this works is a tiny film of water passing through some PVC to get the plant's roots with the nutrients that is needed from the fish tank. the fish which actually produce the waste, which is the nutrients. So that's what the plants need. It took us like roughly about 4 to 5 weeks because we was studying and then build like on and off. But like basically if we have to build a system like this, it would take me to a week or week and a half.
It was very good. I enjoyed it, and I think I want to invest some of my time at home in it and build a system at home, and I think I will get into the business in the future.
Along with the lessons, students also got the chance to network with overseas experts and gain CVQ certificates. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
2 males are the recipients of the 2019 Melanie Kristen Price Foundation's Hugh Wooding Law School and Common Entrance Scholarships. They are Rico Yearwood and Raphael Lovell. Rico, a previous 2018 winner, earned the second $5,000 tranche of the Hugh Wooding Law School scholarship this time around. On the other hand, Raphael got a $1,000 scholarship to assist him when he enters Queen's College next month. Now, both students are grateful for the educational awards.
It feels very great, if I'm to be honest. I was not sure if I would be awarded the scholarship because at Hugh Wooding Law School is very tough, but I managed to continue on the successful trajectory, and I pray that I do continue to continue on the successful trajectory.
I feel accomplished. I knew I was going to win it since I wrote it. I just had this feeling in me that I could do it. Obviously, you can see here today, I did. I am very proud of myself. I am thankful to my parents for their help and support, and hopefully I can continue.
Now, the foundation was established back in 2014 in memory of Melanie Kristen Price, a Hugh Wooding Law School student who lost her battle with cancer. It seeks to make education available to those who are in need. And while thanking the charity for its work, Education Minister Santia Bradshaw reminded the winners to give back to others at some point in their lives.
I hope that the young people take note of the strength of character of both of these individuals, but also the purpose of this charity and the intention of these two individuals to ensure that in memory of their daughter, that you also becoming the recipients of this scholarship today, that you will certainly remember to give back as well when you succeed in your chosen areas.
Regional stories now. Guyana's Public Utilities Commission has received over 400 complaints for the year, and due to its intervention, some $27 million in credit was reimbursed to consumers.
During the first 7 months of this year, the PUC received 436 complaints, with the Guyana Power and Lights Company taking the biggest share. Complaints manager of the Public Utilities Commission, Destra Bourne, explained the system of rectification if companies are found guilty.
You were overbilled and we look into your matter, and you were overbilled, then the company will have to adjust that account. The credit that would have placed on your account, we keep a track of that. If your account was billed incorrectly and the company needs to correct that, we keep track of that. If you would have been without a service for a period of time and you were paying for that service, it has to be returned.
Bourne disclosed that most of the complaints made by members of the public concern technical issues. She informed this newscast the amount of money that was recompensed to customers during 2019 due to the PUC's intervention.
As a result of our intervention for this year, 2019, consumers got back a total thus far of approximately $27 million in credits on their account, and this is for all the utilities.
The Bahamas government says it is working to address power challenges in the capital. This from Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis following weeks of blackouts and ongoing load shedding by the Bahamas Power and Light Company.
After 5 months of load shedding, which has gotten progressively worse, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis for the first time addressed media on what many have described as a vexing issue. He admitted that the current state of intermittent power supply is a crisis for families nationwide.
When you look at and you listen to the cry and the pain of the individuals who are affected, mothers who are caring for infants and the electricity, that is stressful for them. That's a crisis for them. Individuals who may be diabetics who are keeping their medication the fridge and they're off for a certain length of time, that's a crisis for them. Those are situations that we must remedy.
According to Dr. Minnis, the remedy could be derived from national emergency funding.
This is an emergency and the government will have to use all its resources and talent and move monies around. But this must be fixed, and this will be fixed.
The Prime Minister toured the Blue Hills Power Plant yesterday and is seemingly convinced that Bahamas Power and Light is on the right track.
We're looking at more than 20 years of neglect, and now we're correcting those problems. And we're going to correct those once and for all.
Still in the Bahamas, 2 major umbrella unions are agitating for an increase in the minimum wage despite the government's stance that it is not doable now.
Trade union leaders want a minimum wage increase to $300 a week and are not taking no for an answer. Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson said the increase is needed to offset the high cost of living and the 12% VAT increase.
I mean, $210 just would not do it. And so we say that productivity is important, and certainly workers should produce, but by the same token, we take the view that they should be properly compensated.
Minimum wage currently stands at $210 a week, or $201 after national insurance contributions are subtracted. Last week, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest said an increase is not on the government's agenda at this time. It's a statement that did not sit too well with Ferguson or National Congress of Trade Unions President Bernard Evans.
I'm certain his salary is in a couple $100s per week. He's not concentrating on $210